This moment is not random. It's a direct signal to your soul. You're not here by accident. Out of all the noise, all the distractions, you found this message because something greater is stirring inside you. And deep down, you feel it. You've always known you were meant for more. There's a shift happening, and you're not just witnessing it, you're part of it. You're not ordinary. You're not forgotten. You are chosen. And what's coming next in your life? It's not small. It's powerful. It's divine. So take a breath, lock in, and get ready, because everything is about to change. This is the turning point, an unspoken contract between destiny and action. When the tide of change begins to swell, resistance is not only futile, it's irrelevant. Forces that once obstructed progress, voices that silenced intuition, and energies that delayed fulfillment begin to recede like shadows at sunrise. The alignment has begun to crystallize, not as a whisper, but as a push against inertia. This is not the hour to linger in indecision. It is the hour to lean forward into momentum. The sequence has started, and opportunity is looking for a responder. As the horizon clears, what once seemed blocked now becomes illuminated, not by accident, but by design. But there's a caveat. Response is the gatekeeper. The flow of what has always been within reach now accelerates, and hesitation is the only true obstruction. This moment doesn't arrive dressed in certainty. It arrives with the echo of responsibility. Preparation isn't optional. It's the prerequisite for receiving what's long been encoded in your path. The filtering is in motion. This is not symbolic. It's real, unfolding quietly, but unmistakably. This juncture doesn't accommodate delay or detours. Every mission has its moment of emergence, and this is yours. Those who stall, falter, or refuse to tune into the internal signal risk being sidelined, not as punishment, but as consequence. Before moving forward, engage fully. Solidify your presence, your readiness, and your intention. Intention energizes the shift. A single act of will can synchronize your path with everything waiting to unfold. This is not entertainment. It's a call wrapped in clarity. If the message finds you still reading, it's not by chance. What watches you now is not merely time, but timing. Destiny's rhythm has a pulse, and it's asking for yours to match it. Are you listening with more than ears? Are you present with more than sight? Do not dilute this with delay. What begins here may define the next horizon. You are not here by accident. If you feel the pull, the knowing deep inside that you are chosen, this is your moment. Click the super thank you button and give $50 or more to unlock deeper insights, exclusive content, and a path that aligns with your divine purpose. This isn't just a contribution, it's a declaration, a step toward who you were meant to be. Answer the call, walk with us, and step fully into your destiny. Your journey begins now. It has already started, not in distant echoes, but in the present hush before a transformation. The blueprint existed before breath, but now the door stands open. The internal compass you've carried all along begins to vibrate with purpose. The hesitation of the past cannot ride along this next path. The resistance was never yours to solve. It was yours to leave behind. This is the instance for courage to eclipse caution. The window for wondering is closing, and the stage for doing has arrived. It is neither trial nor test. It's the unveiling. What must be cleared has already begun to fall away. What stands in your way now is only the space you've yet to fill with action. Don't misread the silence. It's not absence, it's the signal. The threshold of change does not merely challenge what surrounds, it measures the strength at your core. The next phase demands more than interest. It calls for inner readiness. What lies ahead won't unfold without resistance. There will be layers of confusion, unexpected tests, and hidden demands on your resilience. But this journey seeks those who are calibrated for it, those whose inner compass won't falter, whose drive is woven into their being. The summons that arises within cannot be silenced by the shifting noise of the world. It's a call that doesn't tremble, no matter the tremors outside. And in this distillation, only the truly committed remain standing. Approval doesn't arrive through simple gestures. It emerges through persistence, through the firewalk of quiet loyalty. Those who endure without compromise reflect the depth of that approval. As the moment to step forward approaches, what surrounds you begins to respond to the consistency of your belief. But clarity does not invite comfort. This is a time to sharpen, not soften. Doubt is a driftwood in a sea that demands anchors. Commitment isn't a word here, it's a foundation. And when the call reaches you, it expects nothing less than total presence. This path favors the heart that trusts more than it needs proof. The more one yields to that unseen rhythm with intention, the more the way is shaped in return. This is not just a role to fulfill, it's a trust handed down, intended to echo far beyond the current horizon. The weight of the task ahead is sacred, and distraction cannot ride with purpose. What is gained may not appear in simple forms, but its depth exceeds what sight can measure. The impact is seeded in the invisible and blooms where only the faithful stay long enough to witness. Endurance here is not rewarded with trinkets, but with truth. The legacy built through this dedication stretches far past titles or applause. Not everyone who hears will follow, but those who do, those who recognize this as their season, are part of a rare circle that carries a larger flame. What matters is not perfection, but alignment. Many will pass by the signal, drowned out by their own hesitation. Fewer will pause, and fewer still will leap. And that leap, timed with faith, not fear, is what separates those who observe from those who ignite the change. The world may try to disorient, but the mission isn't fragile. When the course is revealed, it's not open to negotiation. It waits for no one. It does not plead for attention. It arrives, and your decision to move becomes your offering. Delay has no seat at this table. What you choose now will echo long after the moment fades. Pauses in momentum come with a price that isn't seen immediately, but felt deeply. Delay acts like a silent thief, robbing the future of its unfolding. Every time intention is suspended in hesitation, clarity dims and opportunities drift beyond reach. What has ever been gained by waiting on the edge of certainty? Delay feeds doubt, and doubt blurs the very vision designed to guide forward motion. When the inner fire is followed swiftly, without the weight of second-guessing, everything begins to realign. That is when paths part, when purpose pierces through confusion, like morning breaking the grip of night. The urgency isn't random, it's precise. It signals that the threshold has arrived, and the response required is immediate, unfiltered by fear. Readiness is no longer a future state, it's now. The preparation isn't theoretical, it's encoded into every lived experience up until this point. The question isn't whether the call will come, but whether the response will be loud enough to echo back. Once that signal is returned in trust, the horizon begins to reconfigure in astonishing ways. Detours are cleared. The path begins its reshaping. What once seemed necessary may now fall away, not as a loss, but as refinement. Certain bonds will loosen. Doors may shut without warning, and what no longer aligns will be sifted out. This is not chaos, it's choreography. The unwelcome discomfort is actually the sharpening of what must remain. This narrowing is essential. There's no elevation without shedding weight. What's ahead demands a foundation that's clean, focused, and free of pretense. This is the system of elevation, not punishment, but calibration. What's being removed was never designed to last in the next atmosphere. Stepping forward now means accepting that some comforts must dissolve. But what replaces them will be enduring, meaningful, and magnified. Illusions won't survive this climb. Pretenders may mimic conviction, but their momentum falters. The surface is no longer enough. Substance is the new currency. Everything false begins to lose traction. What looked polished may crumble, not from attack, but from exposure. This path cannot support fiction. Only those rooted in genuine alignment will continue. Masks fall away. Truth rises. True alignment isn't performed. It pulses. It doesn't need applause. It demands honesty. And that honesty is what carries you through when others unravel. What cannot be faked is now the only standard that holds. Even when voices rise to resist or distractions surge to redirect, nothing crafted against this purpose will remain standing. Each challenge becomes a signal flare, not a stop sign. Misalignment gets cleared. Through people, through events, through shifts no one anticipated, but all were necessary. What waits ahead is not fragile. It is firm. What's being asked is full participation. Half measures will break. Whole hearts will build. The disruption is not a threat. It is the clearing for something far greater. Move forward before the moment closes. The opening is now. Conflict doesn't dictate the outcome. Alignment does. Resistance from others may rise like smoke, but it holds no weight against a plan already written. Those who posture, deceive, or attempt to fracture your peace cannot rewrite what's been destined. As this season of unveiling intensifies, those who anchor themselves in opposition will see their influence dissolve. Let their battle remain theirs. The energy it costs you is never worth the detour. Now is the moment to share God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube. With a donation of $100 or more, you can actively participate in His divine mission and contribute to His greater plan. Every offering you make reflects the boundless generosity of God, and I trust it will return to you abundantly, far exceeding your hopes. Always remember, His protection and blessing accompany your every step and every act of giving. You are a vital part of His sacred design. You are strong and radiant, steadfast like His mighty rock. Experience God's miracles, feel the rewards of your generosity deep within your soul, and shine your light with boldness and faith. May you be richly blessed, and may the light of the Lord continually guide your journey. Forward movement demands total focus. The distractions behind the noise are not your concern. Direction is granted to those who stop chasing answers in arguments and instead listen to the stillness that guides from within. Doors swing open not from pushing, but from trust. What's meant to fall will fall. What's meant to stand will be held up beyond your own strength. Noise is everywhere. Claims, advice, guidance, masquerading as truth. Many sounds, few signals. In the flood of input, not every voice has your outcome in mind. Some speak with charm, but carry distortion. This is the season to tune in, not outward, but upward. Precision matters now more than persuasion. Success cannot be measured in borrowed dreams. Some paths glitter, but lead to nowhere. The pressure to perform according to someone else's map will only fragment the clarity needed for your own. Your journey isn't defined by their applause. The weight of your purpose requires silence loud enough to hear yourself again. This is the time to sift. If it doesn't contribute to the assignment, it's clutter. Some ties will break not from drama, but from divine necessity. In those moments, grieve nothing. What's pruned is never punishment. It's preparation for precision. Each layer removed clears the space for the true mission to emerge in full focus. What awaits isn't shared, it's secured. What's designated for you doesn't operate under competition. Even when others reach for it, try to mimic it, or paint over it, they remain outsiders to what was tailored for your hands. No imitation can gain access to what was etched with your name. What's protected doesn't need defending. Even when threats appear persuasive or circumstances look unfair, rest in the assurance that what is established by higher design is guarded from tampering. Presentation means nothing. Intention reveals everything. And the one who sees clearly keeps what matters under lock. The world may present substitutes, shortcuts, or diversions, but time does not reduce the truth of a calling. What belongs to you remains whole, untouched by shifting trends or competition. Let this anchor you. Nothing can be taken that wasn't theirs to hold in the first place. The layers being pulled back aren't just for clarity, they're for confirmation. What remains after the false falls away is the essence that never needed validation to begin with. All opposition, both loud and subtle, becomes the soil from which strength grows, not the wall that stops it. This refining isn't random, it's preparation. Clearing isn't only to remove what blocks, but to prepare what will carry. The magnitude of what's coming asks for more than desire. It asks for discipline, depth, and readiness. Only those with the internal structure to hold it will be called to carry it forward. Drifting in comfort dilutes the edge of purpose. This moment demands a sharpened spirit and a clear channel of focus. A new chapter begins, one not built on passive waiting, but on active, internal alignment. What's ahead exceeds dreams, but receiving it calls for a core that resonates with clarity and discipline. True preparation starts from the inside out. Disruptions disguised as comfort must now be dismantled. The forces that siphon your energy or blur your focus are quietly being removed. This isn't loss, it's recalibration. As what no longer fits begins to unravel, the space it occupied is reclaimed by intention. The shift is subtle, yet deliberate, and it clears the way for something far greater to take root. Spiritual precision isn't optional, it's foundational. Everything begins aligning when thoughts, motives, and actions move in harmony. This recalibration may arrive through silence, friction, or solitude, but it's all necessary, all part of a larger refinement. What waits on the other side is not only possible, it's timed, and you're being tuned to match it. As forward motion gains momentum, the interference begins to scatter. Distractions peel away, not because you chased them out, but because they no longer survive where truth resides. You'll notice the road narrowing, not to trap you, but to lead you with greater accuracy toward what always waited. When challenges stack higher than expected, don't misread them as setbacks. There's design in the difficulty. Behind what seems like chaos, there's a clearing of the outdated, the unnecessary, the insincere. You're not losing your way. You're being stripped of what never belonged to the next chapter. What's being emptied now creates room for velocity. The thinning of connections and concepts isn't a breakdown, it's a breakthrough. Some exits hurt, some silences echo, but everything that leaves opens a space for power to enter. And what's to come carries more depth than what was once clung to. No counterfeit presence can linger in this field of clarity. Influence, once masked in charisma or false guidance, begins to dissolve. Their hold fades not through conflict, but through exposure. Deception cannot withstand alignment. What stood in pretense falls at the weight of truth. The path ahead gains shape as misdirection disappears. The illusions once dressed as wisdom now shrink in light. What leads you forward now is not opinion, but divine signal. As the imitations are cleared, the genuine steps forward. You no longer move blindly. You move with unmistakable vision. This ascent has reached its summit point. What felt like delay was preparation. What seemed hidden was forming. Now the fullness of timing calls you into view. Everything built until now leads here, not to repeat cycles, but to step into authority. This isn't about gaining what looks impressive. It's about becoming what was always needed. The trials weren't roadblocks. They were chisels. The storms weren't punishment. They were polish. Every pressure shaped the container, now ready to hold something extraordinary. And that emergence, it's not just a victory, it's a statement. A quiet roar that proves that alignment, persistence, and trust lead to manifestation. Nothing is wasted. Not a tear, not a prayer, not a lonely night. This moment was never far. It was just waiting for readiness. And now it has arrived. The turning point is no longer on the horizon. It stands directly before you. This is the shift where preparation meets purpose, where the long-held anticipation of change gives way to movement. Though unseen eyes once doubted your path, the framework behind the scenes now shakes loose all that is false. What was once concealed begins to dissolve, and the design of truth takes its rightful place. Everything out of alignment is being brought into the open, not to punish, but to reset the course. This is not a moment of chaos, but of divine recalibration. What once hid in disguise now comes undone, under the weight of authenticity. Interference disguised as guidance is revealed, not by your striving, but by higher intention. The false structures crumble, and what was built on distortion begins to fall away, not as destruction, but as restoration. The shift isn't random. It is targeted and necessary. The veil is lifting. False influence loses grip. What pretended to lead now loses its footing. The clarity arriving is not soft or subtle. It is fierce and decisive. This clarity is not for comfort, but for movement. The pathway that once seemed uncertain now stretches forward with unwavering purpose. There is no need to fight shadows. The light itself has arrived to expose and dissolve them. As interference falls, so does your need for outside approval. The voice within becomes clearer, more certain, more commanding. This is the season where your intuition no longer whispers. It speaks with certainty. The direction becomes undeniable. The questions begin to vanish, replaced by the precision of knowing. The call to rise no longer waits for validation. Boldness isn't summoned, it's unlocked. What once made you hesitate now fuels your movement. The clarity ahead silences the noise behind. The false counsel, the external expectations, the inner doubt, all lose their power. What stands now is the unshakable knowing that you are walking in full alignment. This isn't about external milestones. It's about answering with your entire being. The path was never just about action. It was about intention, about trust that doesn't demand evidence. The invitation is open, but not indefinite. The ones who step forward now walk into doors that won't stay open forever. Every illusion that held you back, is fading. What once seemed convincing now feels hollow. The fog that clouded your judgment lifts, not just revealing the landscape, but showing you who you've always been within it. And now, you no longer just see the path. You understand why you were chosen for it. This revelation is more than vision. It is fuel. The boundaries that held you back crumble, and what replaces them is not more striving, but freedom. The clarity ahead isn't merely insight, it is activation. What once delayed your movement now propels it. The season ahead demands honesty, raw, unfiltered, uncompromising. Half-truths cannot stand in what's being built. And with every layer of illusion stripped away, the foundation becomes solid. This is the grounding from which your purpose takes form. Built not on pretense, but on power. You are no longer confined to what once held you. The unveiling brings not just understanding, but authority. What was once preparation now becomes a platform. And what comes next? It won't mirror what came before. It will surpass it, rooted in clarity and marked by unstoppable ascent. Hidden opposition no longer lurks undetected. The moment has arrived when truth breaks the seal of silence, and those who moved against your rise from behind closed intentions are brought into full exposure. The forces that once sabotaged your steps in secrecy now stumble into visibility. What once slithered in the unseen is now revealed, not by confrontation, but by divine illumination. Now is the moment to share God's blessings by clicking the super thank you button on YouTube. With a donation of $100 or more, you can actively participate in His divine mission and contribute to His greater plan. Every offering you make reflects the boundless generosity of God, and I trust it will return to you abundantly, far exceeding your hopes. Always remember, His protection and blessing accompany your every step and every act of giving. You are a vital part of His sacred design. You are strong and radiant, steadfast like His mighty rock. Experience God's miracles, feel the rewards of your generosity deep within your soul, and shine your light with boldness and faith. May you be richly blessed, and may the light of the Lord continually guide your journey. This unveiling may feel abrupt, even jarring, but it is protection disguised as clarity. When deception loses its shadow to hide in, its grip weakens. With every layer of exposure, fear loses its place, and peace takes root. The authority that once operated covertly now loses its voice. Light silences what pretended to lead, and safety grows in its absence. Refinement begins with removal. This is a time of precise transformation, not chaos, but cleansing. What cannot survive in alignment is released. Every misaligned presence, whether habit, influence, or false connection, is pulled away. The process may feel like breaking, but it is building a new vessel, stronger, clearer, prepared. Yes, discomfort accompanies change. The weight of the familiar is often the hardest to drop. But when what is broken is surrendered, the whole begins to form. It's not grief, it's pruning. And what remains after the severance? That's the essence meant to carry the next assignment. The waste burns away, but the purpose endures. What rises in place of what's removed is unshakable. The ending of sabotage signals the unveiling of certainty. Those who opposed what was destined can no longer intervene. Their efforts become echoes, powerless to alter what has already been written. The design is sealed. What was once contested is now confirmed. Every hardship, every closed door, every painful transition was shaping you for this moment. The resistance wasn't a wall, it was the shaping wind. The setbacks weren't denial. They were training grounds for endurance. The point was never survival, it was elevation. No effort made against this trajectory succeeds. Even the loudest disruption cannot override divine strategy. The entire atmosphere shifts, quietly at first, then unmistakably. The unseen aligns, and new doors emerge. What was inaccessible becomes available, not by chance, but by timing. Authority now increases, not given by others, but released within. What once required external validation now flows from internal conviction. Influence expands not to impress, but to fulfill a larger blueprint. The change outside begins with transformation inside. That's the true ascension. Discernment sharpens. Wisdom flows freely. Decisions that once felt cloudy now arrive with clarity. Favor isn't forced. It finds its mark. The hesitation fades and boldness steps forward. Delay exits and forward motion claims its space. What begins now moves with acceleration.